Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, Divinely Transformed. My name is Lisa, and as always, whether you're new or returning, I am glad that you're here. So, I don't normally post on the weekends, as y'all know, so this is a very rare treat. However, it's not really a treat for me, because it involves talking about things that I would just rather forget. But I'm being reminded, you are a teacher. You're not allowed to forget. So, this isn't a reading. This is just a teaching. And this is about unrequited love situations. Why you're in them, why you feel this way, how you feel this way, and what you can do to change it. Unrequited love situations. Man, I've had a number of them. Different kinds, of course, different kinds of people. Most of them were men. A few of them were women. Some of them were my family. Some of them were friends. Just people that I very much loved on a soul level. And I shared varying levels of my energy with each of these people on differing levels because, you know, some of them are family, some of them are friends, and some of them were lovers. So with that distinction, you can see the progression of the difference of energy sharing with each person. The very last one. My false twin flame. I really believed it was my real twin flame. And I was just like, man, oh man, this feels so karmic though. And then I was just like, yeah, I'm in a karmic situation with my divine masculine. That's how I saw it back then. And that's really not what it was, but it was just another step towards the realization that this person was just a karmic soulmate, a catalyst for my real twin flame. Well, the birth charts lined up that this was my real twin flame. But the twin flame journey is very misunderstood. I guess we're getting into a deeper topic here. Everybody thinks that the twin flame journey is this magical spiritual connection. Well, it is spiritual, but it isn't magical. When I first came to it, I thought it was magical too, because what you don't understand, your mind fills in the blanks with something that your mind can understand. Okay, so the twin flame journey is not magical at all. It's about choices. I do apologize if y'all are having a hard time hearing me talk over my air conditioners. This is the first time I'm trying this. It's really hot in here. I can't not have that on. But anyhow, The twin flame journey is about developing in your spirituality and the choices that you make in your life that reflect what you learn, what you know, what you believe. It's a whole paradigm shifting experience, and it's supposed to be. It's set up that way. It's designed that way. So anyhow, getting back to the topic of unrequited love situations, I feel like I'm the expert on this. Because of my soul's craving and desire to be loved, and not having that around me in any way, made me very desperate for love, acceptance, appreciation, etc. That, starting from a very young age, I'm finding myself latching onto particular individuals, not everybody, just particular ones that I feel drawn and an emotion toward. Hoping that they would reciprocate with me in some way to give love back to me. I really don't know how many times I've tried to do this. And it was always unmatched. So when you're desperate for love, you're trying to find it anywhere you can get it. And before long, you realize you're lowering your standards more and more and more. Just because your soul longs to be loved and accepted and protected and understood. But that's toxic. But I didn't know. So I had 40 plus years of giving love away. Just giving and giving and giving and giving and getting scraps back. I am a giver. I have so much love to give. And it's only been recently that I've come across my soul tribe. In the last months has been most life-changing for me, because in the last 12 months, for the first time ever, I'm meeting people who understand me immediately, who intuitively know that all I need is for them to tell me how much they appreciate me and how much they care about me and how good of a job I can do. I don't need a whole lot. My soul tribe knows just what to say to touch my heart. And I'm like, this is what I've always been waiting for. For someone to understand what I need without telling them. I don't need much. And I can just keep giving and giving, and when it's returned to me, it makes me more powerful. And I'm so grateful that the few people that are around me, they show me love, they show me light, they show me care, they show me understanding and compassion. And they totally get me. And I don't need to spend a whole lot of time with them either. It's great. But the moments are amazing. It's like, yes, finally, my real family. Because I had to walk away from everyone in my family. I don't know what a loving family is, like blood family, so I had to try to create my own my whole life. And then when I stopped trying to create my own family, God brings me my family to me. And I met them all at work. And I love them all so much. And I just love to make them smile. I love to make their day easier. And I share little bits of myself along the way, which is also something very new to me. Because anybody who knows me from my past knows that I keep a whole lot to myself. Unless I'm in a crisis, and then I can't shut me up. But I can control my emotions now. I don't have like outbursts really anymore. It's wonderful. Unrequited love situations. Let's talk about the kind where you're in a long-term relationship with someone, marriage, relationship, many years. Let's talk about that. So because I've been through a lot of pain and people put me through a lot of hell over 4 decades, I got used to people treating me like shit. It's a defense mechanism. It's distortion in your programming. And it's like developing Stockholm syndrome. It's not like that. That's exactly what it is. Because I grew up in an extreme, very extremely abusive, neglectful, and forced servitude situation. It really programmed me to put up with a lot. And Love isn't supposed to hurt. When you're in a relationship with someone, they're supposed to be loving and kind and compassionate and understanding and giving and caring. They should be all of those things. To not ignore you when they feel bad about themselves for whatever reason. If someone really, felt all or any of those things for you, they wouldn't ignore you. They wouldn't abuse you. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, or legally. Listen. People will treat you as you allow them to. Even if you get mad and you fight with them about the way that they're treating you, you staying in the relationship with them is all that they need to keep going as permission. And they won't fucking stop. These people have no heart. They have no soul. They have no compassion. Because all they can think about is their fucking selves. And about how fucking bad they fucking feel. And because they feel so bad about themselves and their life and etc., they gotta make the people around them that they're supposed to love, care, nurture, and protect, they gotta make them feel like shit? No. No. That's wrong. You also need to see that it's wrong, that you should not be treated this way. You should not put up with this. You're putting yourself through more pain and more trauma because you're used to it. You can handle it, right? And these people that you're with, in a long-term relationship because you love them. You've been with them for a long time. You love them. There's a reason why you're together. Or at least on one end, anyway. From my perspective, I was in a karmic situation with a very karmic person for 5 years. I was ignored. Mostly. The only use I had was sex and $400 a month. If it didn't fall into sex whenever he felt like it, it was hardly ever when I wanted it. So it was one-sided, on his terms. And I knew full well that, he was having sex with other people because he made that perfectly clear that it was just a friends with benefits situation, and it was never going to evolve into anything else. But, I was like in love. So I'm like manifesting, okay? I wasted 5 years of my life manifesting nothing because this person had no interest in changing their behavior, their mind, anything. Their situation, nothing. It took me 5 fucking years to see that I was just wasting my time. Because this shit isn't magical. This isn't like, oh God, please, make him love me. Whatever. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. Manifestation involves free will. It's about choice. Right? Two people have to make a choice to come together. Free will. We won't even talk about when you're trying to remove someone's free will, take it away from them without their knowledge or permission. That's something else entirely. We're not talking about that. We're talking about higher vibration stuff here. I was with an emotionally abusive and neglectful person. And I couldn't figure out why I loved him so much. Because the dude barely spoke anything to me in fucking 5 years. We probably had 12 conversations in 5 years. And I can remember feeling so helpless, hopelessly in love, hopelessly obsessed, hopelessly waiting, hopelessly watching tarot, hopelessly pulling out my own tarot, hopelessly making myself crazy, waiting and waiting and waiting and looking for signs and overthinking the little breadcrumbs of signs that I got as a sign, and it was nothing. It was bullshit. Then it got to the point where it was like I had to see if this was going to go somewhere or nowhere. So I was afraid to talk. But, I did tell him, different intervals over the years, how I felt. And it took a lot of courage to say the little bits that I was trying to say. But then I just had to go balls out because, the little bits just wasn't cutting it anymore. And I wasn't getting any fucking response. It was just silence, silence, silence. I needed a fucking response. I needed something to go off of. So I was all like, I wrote him this long letter. I laid it all out. It was fucking 13, 15 pages long. Fucking wasting all my time and energy. A lot of it was Akashic record stuff. Because I know that we've been together before in past lives because I've seen them. And they were all full of trauma. Except for one. One was sort of kind of nice, but it really wasn't, because it was like a lifetime where we were married, but we were always in different rooms, so we were never spending time together. We were always spending time alone or with other people. Because in that lifetime, I was a baker in London or in England or something, and it was 1800s or something. I don't know, maybe. Something like that is what I'm picturing. And then I saw him sitting there on this couch, and he's smoking a pipe, and he had one leg crossed over the other, and he was just sitting there smoking his pipe, just sitting there. And I was just like, whoa, it even looks like him. Like, I couldn't believe, like, in the past lives, like, how much it looked like us. Well, I didn't see myself. I was just looking down at myself. But when I looked down at myself, you know, rolling out this dough, I was plump, you know. Yeah. You know, the typical, you know, chubby grandma type, you know. Probably had a bun too, but I didn't see that. I just got to see, like, down because I was, like, standing and I was looking down at rolling this dough out. And it's really funny because, like, I'm actually very good at baking. I just don't want to do it, and I refuse to do it. I hate to do it, but I'm very good at it. I don't like cooking. But if you can get me to bake something, it's gonna be delicious. I guess I'm just tired of that shit because I baked myself out in that lifetime. I don't know. I never had that thought before. So, getting back to the topic. Anyhow. So, like, I'm competing for someone's attention, right? I want them to see me. I want them to notice me. So we love me, right? Right. No. But that's what I did. I even moved in as a roommate, hoping it would morph into more. Dude, I was really scared when I moved in there because it was like right after the whole government shut down. And I was like convinced in my mind that I had to be living with him because I didn't feel safe anywhere else, because it really didn't feel safe. I wasn't safe anywhere else, but I felt safer there, and I did feel safe there for a time, but that safety feeling waned into the impending feeling of danger, and I had to get the fuck out of there, like, as soon as possible, or I might fucking die in there. But it's so strange how, like, it was so natural to me to be like throwing myself at someone who didn't even like me. He even told me that about, it was like not long after I moved in. He says, you know, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like, whenever you do talk, have you ever noticed that I don't really say much to you? Well, there's a reason for that. It's because I don't fucking like you. And I was like, that really fucking made my heart fall on the floor, because I'm like, why would you pretend to be my friend? Why would you want anything to do with me? I didn't understand. He was using me for my sexual energy, because he was a fucking warlock and he was stealing my energy from me, and he was manifesting from my energy and sharing it with other people. My best friend even told me so, energetically, and I didn't even really understood what that meant, and I was just like, yeah, so, and your point is, like, this should have felt wrong to me, but because I was like codependent and I didn't have boundaries, I didn't even know what boundaries were. Back in the year 2000, okay, I was like, okay, like right around January of 2000, I was like, all right, I need to create boundaries with people for my safety. And then I was like, I don't even know what that is. What would I even do to create a boundary with someone? Like, I really didn't know. And this was just 2 years ago. Well, part of that, you can't really create boundaries if you don't have self-value, self-esteem, self-worth. I didn't have it yet. I'm still looking for it. It just sort of happened, like, supernaturally. Because I didn't find it. It just happened. And then that's when it dawned on me that I never had self-esteem. I never had I didn't know what I was worth. I didn't think I was worth much of anything. I didn't think I was successful at anything. And I had to literally force myself to make a list of all of my accomplishments. And I got to 33 things before I finally started coming to a complete halt. And some of these things on this list are like fucking major accomplishments too. And I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm worth. And I'm just like, allowing people to treat me any old fucking way. They treat me the way that they treat me, and then I'm just like, I get butthurt, and then I'm right back to it. I didn't get it. When someone is mistreating you, abusing you, neglecting you, making you feel like shit, putting you in competition with other people, like, your first response should be, bye, Felicia. And if it isn't, you really need to find out why. And I bet you it has something to do with how you were raised. Because of the trauma from your upbringing is the number one reason why you're allowing people to treat you any old fucking way. And then, okay, these fucking narcissists go so far, and they all do it too. They make you feel guilty for creating boundaries with them, and they're the only ones with the bad behavior. Or they're the main ones with the bad behavior anyway. It does take two to tango. Even the victim, it's a quotations, it's not victim, but it's like, even the narcissist empath, even the empath who is like seemingly the victim in the situation, you still have responsibility because you're willingly putting yourself in harm's way with a person that you fucking know has done X, Y, and Z to you, and you still keep, yes, massa, with me again, massa, I love you. And then they're off fucking around, hurting your feelings again. And then you're just like, oh, why'd you do that to me, massa? I love you, massa. What? And this is slavery through emotions. Then you're like, all right, well, you're being an asshole, so I'm going to sleep in the other room for however long I decide. They make you feel like shit for that boundary. They make you feel guilty for it. So you go right back in. And, you know, there's like a honeymoon period. Then they get what they want. Money, sex, time, attention, whatever. And then they're gone. Out hurting you again. making you feel ignored, abandoned, neglected, unnurtured, or worse. You have to ask yourself why you're standing there at the ready to be whipped again by this person, spiritually whipped, whether your emotions, whenever you're getting hurt, whenever they're doing X, Y, and Z to you all over again. When these people have established patterns of behavior, and what's even worse is you can fucking put a timer, and you can fucking you know that every trick they're gonna pull out, and then you're still there. Why? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your emotions, your energy, your resources, everything. And dude, there's nothing more valuable than any of those things. Time, energy, love, emotions, attention, devotion. These things are fucking priceless. You can't get these things back. And yet, when we pity these fuckers, when we feel guilty for their shitty behavior, you have to ask yourself why you think so little of yourself. That someone who doesn't give a shit about you does all this shit. They didn't feel guilty when they're out there gallivanting, doing whatever's hurting your feelings. They didn't feel guilty in those moments. So why should you feel guilty about turning your back on a known abuser with an established pattern of behavior? I don't care if your person has never hit you a day in your life. If they're berating you, if they're lying to you, manipulating you, doing spell work and black magic on you, and neglecting you emotionally and manipulating you emotionally, then they've crossed every ethical and moral boundary line there fucking is to a person. And then you have to ask yourself why you're okay with being someone who has crossed every ethical and fucking moral boundary in the fucking book, who has violated every spiritual law in the universe. These are all new thoughts to me too. Trust me. When you know your value, when you know what you're worth, when you know what you can bring to the table, you'll never settle for anything less than you deserve or want again. Even if it means you risk being alone. But you know, if you're making all the right decisions in your life and you're really trying to change your life and you want love, you will have it. If you choose it. If you align your life and your priorities to be able to welcome it. But if you've got narcissistic people around you, you're not going to attract the kind of love that you want. It's going to be blocked from being able to come in because it will be destroyed by these narcs. And that is the main reason why I haven't said shit to my divine counterpart in the 3D. I am blocked from entering in that way because I know he's got karmics all around him. I'm not going to jeopardize my job, my happiness, my life as I know it to say something when it's not even my job as the divine feminine to say anything, unless that door is open to me from him through conversation. It is the only way that is coming from my mouth at work, as if he opens the door to that conversation, because otherwise that door is closed to me. It's not my job to pursue this. It's not my job to be involved. I'm not pursuing this. I'm not involved. But I am called to have my platform to do this. See, one of the secondary reasons that I started this channel, and I never told anyone this before, not one soul. So I'm saying this for the first time in public, online. And it will forever be online for as long as the channel is up here. God told me to start my own tarot channel on YouTube. And I didn't want to. Y'all know that part because I talk about that. I was like, okay. What I didn't tell you, it was the second part. I wasn't fully committed to my channel until God told me that that's how my divine counterpart is going to learn from me. And it will be how I will come into sacred union. I was just not clear on the person because I really thought it was a different person. But that doesn't negate what I was told. It doesn't mean that it wasn't true, because it really was true. It just, I just had my own idea of who my divine counterpart was until I found out that it really was not him at all. Thank God it's not. But that was the only reason I was so dedicated to my channel. Honestly, in the beginning. But that motivation probably faded about 7 or 8 months into it, when I started noticing I was helping random strangers all across the world, I was just like, wow, this goes even deeper than me teaching my divine counterpart about spirituality and karmic stuff and whatever. And really, like, I didn't realize how big the job was when I first accepted it. I knew it was big, but I didn't really realize just how big it was. I also didn't realize that I was going to have to get so personal until I was like, I don't know, several months into it, and God's like, you have a lot to speak about on this subject now. And I'm just like, I don't want to. Just like, I didn't really want to do this video either, to be honest with you. But it's not about what I want to do. If I have to speak on something, I have to. Even if it makes me uncomfortable in some way. Man, I can't believe how open I am now compared to not that long ago. I was so afraid to be myself. You want to know why? Because everybody always made fun of me. Even the people that were supposed to love and protect me and care about me and be my friend, be my family. There's not one person that I'm related to or have known in my past part of my life. All my soul tribe, they're like the exclusion, because it's like the sun came out after 40 years of pain. But like everything before that, I don't know what it's like to not be betrayed. Every family member I had has hurt me. Even my children. But I love and forgive them all. And out of all of my family, only 3 of my 5 children are in my life. That's it. And my time with them is very limited. Two of my children live in Portland, Oregon. and I haven't seen in person since 2015. But you know, with all of that, and I am not afraid to still love and give and be bold with my communication, like, and tell people, my friends, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you for whatever. 2 weeks ago, I hugged my boss and I told her I loved her. I really do. She just became my boss, but she was my first evaporation installer. Now she's my boss, and yeah, I've never had that experience before, ever. I've never even considered a boss a friend before until this happened. Let alone hugging it out right in the middle of work. I love you, man. Yeah. But like, I do what I can do naturally and what I do well, and my soul tribe thanks me. They go out of their way, say thank you, I appreciate it. That really made my day easier. Your work is excellent. Stuff like that. I'm so glad I can count on you. I don't know what I would do without you. These are like water to my soul. And I'm sure that all of my friends think it's nothing, really. They wish that they could probably do something more, but that's everything for me. That's all I've ever wanted. When you're a light worker, when you're a divine being, when you just want to love and help people, or protect them, or whatever it is that you're gifted to do, we have a tendency to want to do that so much that we martyr ourselves and then we lose ourselves. I loved people so much in the past, yeah, but I didn't love myself. I totally forgot about me. I abandoned myself. I betrayed myself countless times. All because I loved someone. And I've had human petri dish. I've had so many human petri dishes of little projects of people that I could love and help, and they all had to wreck it. Now I don't have petri dishes anymore. I don't have experiments. I'm not blind who I can give to anymore. I know who I can be kind to and loving and loyal to. I can see the narcs a mile away now. I can feel them a mile away now. I can swim around the sharks in peace. It's never happened before. But it's about finding yourself. Deciding that you're tired of being abused, neglected, abandoned, mistreated, cheated on, whatever. Just tired of all of the low vibrational energies from people. Just tired of it. And when you're tired of it that fucking much, when you put your fucking foot down and you say, it is fucking finished, it is finished, and you're done and you're getting away from them. But until you've decided that you've had enough, when will enough be enough? How many times do these fuckers have to hurt you? Make you feel left out, hurt your feelings, beat you, rape you, whatever they do. How many times are you going to stand for this treatment? Until you say no more and fucking mean it and finalize it. Because when you're living with someone that is like abusing you, using you, betraying you, neglecting you, etc., and all you do is move to the other room, that's not solving anything. You need to fucking leave their life, period. That's the only thing that's gonna show them the fucking lesson that they need to learn. Maybe. But it's really about walking away and saying, I've done all I can do. I give up. You're not doing anything constructive over here. I forgive you. I forgive myself for subjecting myself to this torture and wasting my time, my energy, my emotions, my money, my everything else. And I'm not holding any grudges. I just want it to be done and over with, and just you do you, and just gotta make it final, man. Because otherwise they're not gonna fucking get, and that doesn't mean that you can be like break up with them and then like make them sit and stew in it for a few months and then take them back and same old shit's happen. No, that's not what I'm talking about. When you stop the pattern, you fucking stop the pattern permanently. With someone with an established pattern of behaviors. Because they're not going to stop. If you keep coming back, they're keeping on doing it. They might stop whenever you leave, or they just might find a new victim. But whatever the case is, it's none of your concern anymore, because you're moving on in peace, right? Right. And you're not looking back, right? Right. Because that's the only way to deal with that. When nothing's working, when you've done everything that you could do, and everything is still falling apart, and the other person still ain't doing shit, what can you do? The only thing you can do is what's best for you. Because if the other person really cared what was best for you, you wouldn't be having these problems in the first place, or there would be improvement. I just saw 59 on my counter. So if you want to check out the angel number 59, go for it. It might resonate. The link is always in the description. Y'all know where it is. But that's really all I wanted to talk. Well, I didn't really want to talk about it, but that's what I come on here to talk about. And I'm not yelling at anybody. I'm just trying to get your attention. Like, wake you up. Because this is serious shit. And this is the kind of stuff that people laugh about. And people make jokes about. And people make fun of people about. But this happens to everybody all the time. And it's because we've all been traumatized in some way as a child. I don't think that anyone has had the perfect childhood with the perfect parents, with the perfect life, with the perfect love and the perfect everything. I don't think that shit exists. So I think we're all fucked up. And we're all trying to... the world's got blindfolds on. And we're all trying to figure out how to survive. When really we got it wrong. We need to be thinking how we can thrive. Because we're just trying to get by on scraps. On starvation. Of like, you know, the good things in life. Love, attention, devotion, relationships that are healthy and loving and reciprocal and helpful and understanding and compassionate and, like, you know, peacemaking and all that. But nobody's doing that. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's being a fucktard. Everybody's being an asshole. And nobody knows how to treat each other because we're all fucked up and nobody knows how to treat anybody until we can learn how to start coming out of our learned programs from our trauma from our past. And you know, there's a lot of stupid adults out there that think, oh, my childhood has nothing to do with my adult life. Well, bull fucking shit on that. Because if that were true, why the fuck are you still struggling? Because you're doing the same shit that your parents did. Or whatever in your family did. Whoever in your family. If it wasn't your parents, it's someone else that you were toxically mirroring. And it's when we have these toxic programmings that we get used to this treatment from people. We can handle it. We've been through hell. We can take it. We don't just ego talking to keep you in karmic situations with people that are no good for you, that you aren't good for them either. How can you tell you're in a karmic situation? When you're always obsessed with the situation. You can't stop thinking about it. You can't stop talking about it. You can't stop dreaming about it. You can't stop wanting it. But there's a resistance. It doesn't really work out. It doesn't, it just doesn't click. Nothing completes. Like, it doesn't go anywhere. There's nothing. Okay. When you have intense love for someone and you feel bad for them, and yeah, but they're being mean to you and they're not treating you right, but they do all this stuff, and then they try to make you feel bad for getting upset with them for their behavior. That's just fucking manipulation. I just hope that y'all out there who need to see this video will see it. Because when someone is constantly in your energy, on their terms, and only on their terms, and they lie and they cheat and they steal and they do whatever, why do you care that they're upset because you want to be away from them? Why do you care if they're feeling bad or sad or mad? You shouldn't. Because they didn't give a fuck about your feelings when they did X, Y, and Z to hurt you. And they're banking on your emotional sensitivity to keep giving your power away to them, so they can keep using you, abusing you, neglecting you, mistreating you more. Taking your power back, you know what that means? That means not allowing anyone or anything to stand in your way of what you want, of your goals, of your desires, of whatever you want. That's what that means. Walking away from what no longer serves you. It literally is that, but it's said so much that I feel like the words have lost meaning. What does that mean? It means walking away from everything and everyone that is making you feel unhappy, used, abandoned, betrayed, abused, used. Anything that doesn't make you feel happy, loved, or appreciated is a karmic situation. And you can have a karmic situation with your children, your parents, your spouse, your friends, your coworkers, your anyone. And the strongest karmics show up as the ones fucking closest to you, the ones that you love the most. Those are the most heartbreaking times to find out that the people that you love the most are the most toxic. They're put in your life as a karmic so you can teach each other lessons. And they ain't fun. They're painful. But it's only through learning the lessons that really makes us humans any good, because we need to grow, develop, and expand. That's what we're designed to do. We're like plants. When we're not learning, growing, loving, expanding, we start withering and dying. That's what stagnation means. That's what I mean when something's stagnant, when it's stuck, when it's not moving, when it's not going anywhere. We're living beings. We're like plants. If we don't have sun, if we don't have light, if we don't have water, which is love, if we don't have safety, stability, and security, we're gonna know. And we're gonna be fucked up. Because these are Maslow's basic hierarchy of basic needs. I actually have this in a teaching right on top. Maslow's needs, hierarchy of needs. The first and foremost ones is the physiological needs. That's your body, your physical health. If you don't have your physical health, you don't have shit. Second layer is safety and security. We need to have safety and security. We need to have a home. We need to be safe. We need to have money. We need to be able to pay our bills. That's all that. Definitely, yeah. But definitely can't have safety and security if we don't meet the physiological needs. Because if we don't have our physical health, how can we keep anything safe and secure? Then above safety and security, we have love and belonging. That's important. When you have all three of these things, you have self-esteem. And when you have self-esteem, you're actually in self-actualization, which means you're free to be whoever you are, and you just turn into you, like the real version of you that you're supposed to be. Physiological needs, mental health falls in there too, because if your mental health's off, like, that's part of health. But yeah, like, we need this stuff to be able to be our most successful as a human. All of them. If you find yourself making compromises in any of these things, you're not getting your needs met. Common sense says, if you're not getting your needs met, you need to go where your needs can be met. But for whatever reason, common sense seems to elude us. And myself was even in this for decades. It's because of the programming. If you find yourself feeling fear or guilt or shame or remorse for making a choice that you know should be made, needs to be made, has to be made, it's just energetic blockages to stop you from making the choices that are best for you. Are you going to continue to submit to these energies that are being projected onto you and manipulated onto you? Or are you just going to decide that you've decided and enough's enough and it's done, and even though it's hard, it's just something that has to be done, and then you just get it over with? It doesn't take days, weeks, and months to leave somebody. If you want to leave them, you can leave them. And this is coming from someone that it took me months to leave my last karmic, because I needed to make sure that the move that I made was stable and solid. I couldn't have it be rushed. And I waited months for the perfect opportunity. I had to manifest it. I had to work hard for it, and then it finally came. But and then I took action upon it. But for a while there, it was like procrastination. It was like, I knew I had to leave that house. I knew I had to move. And I couldn't figure out how to do it because my finances were limited. My physical health was limited at that time. And, I just couldn't do just anything at that time. But I was still working on bringing my physical health up, but it wasn't up enough. And I had a lack of confidence in myself. I didn't even know that I could do the job that I applied for whenever I started working at the refrigerator factory. I just had to try it. I was that desperate. I had to see if I could make it work, because I had to get out of that house. I had to get my own place, and I had to be able to afford it. Because counting on other people, I was fucking 4 decades tired of counting on other people to help me with living, with supporting myself. It's like it took me 40 plus years to really truly grow up. But sometimes that's what it takes. Better late than never, right? And especially whenever I'm still young enough to enjoy it. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. And I probably talked a little too long, but I really do know a lot about unrequited love. It's not something I have in my life anymore. But, yeah. It definitely sucks your soul. When you're depressed, you're suppressing your own self, your soul. When you're suppressing your emotions and your desires, you're suppressing your soul. Don't do that. Let your heart and soul sing with joy, with love, with passion. But if you're not safe, you need to make sure you are safe. Because, as you can see, you can't have love and belonging until you're safe. And if you're living with someone that you're married to or whatever, or you're in a relationship with, that you're supposed to love, and they're supposed to love you, but if you don't feel safe and stable and secure, there's a problem. And if the problem ain't you, it's them, and they need to go. We need to be able to have boundaries with ourselves to make sure that we are having all of our needs met. And if they're not being met, and the other person is not working with us and working against us, then it's time to separate ourselves from them. And it doesn't matter who they are. Because people should not be taking any kind of relationship or blood tie to force a connection or a relationship with someone. That's fucked up and it's wrong. If that person's a shitty person, it don't matter how they're related to you, they're fucked up and shitty, and they need to go be fucked up and shitty somewhere else, away from you, not disturbing your happiness and peace anymore. So anyhow, that's what I have for y'all. Thank y'all so much for supporting my channel and sharing with my energies like y'all do. I appreciate y'all very much. And I'll be talking to y'all on Monday. And I'll be finishing up the water signs for the rest of the month. I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great rest of your weekend.